K2 has live team coverage of major changes on the way for counties after the outbreak.
That safety precaution coming to Washington restaurants is raising concerns about sharing personal information. Kelly Ozer just heard from Governor Inslee and explains why he's not budging on this. Kelly?
Well, and he says that this is really our best way of mitigating the coronavirus spreading or even popping up yet again. That's why he's encouraging contact tracing. But according to local restaurants, they believe their customers won't show up. To say small businesses have been impacted by the coronavirus is an understatement. Up and down the streets of Vancouver, you see once bustling restaurants with empty dining rooms. Their once bountiful revenue streams reduced to a takeout style trickle.
It's been devastating, but we're trying our best that we can. It's just a lot of uncertainty right now.
But now as Washington looks to reopen, the requirements involved have business owners concerned.
We employ roughly 25 people. And
Bill Giannakakis owns Billy Blues Bar and Grill in Vancouver. This is what you would expect to normally see. But he says with distancing requirements, even if he opens up, it may not be enough to stay afloat. And on top of that, he says his patrons are not happy about the contact tracing mandate.
we had heard that that might be part of the equation. And as some of our regulars have come and gone to, pick up takeout food, we've asked, how would you feel about that? And the majority of the people they're just not down with that. They feel that that is an infringement on their civil liberties.
Under the guidelines, restaurants will have to ask for their customers' personal contact information to help track them down in case someone gets sick. Bill says considering all that, he's not sure it's worth reopening. Now coming up tonight at 5 o'clock, Governor Inslee says that this is an important and really vital part of us moving forward from the coronavirus. But how is your information being used and how are you being protected? We have those answers for you at 5. Reporting live, Kelly Ozer, K2 News.
Kelly, thank you. Washington is working its way toward reopening, and with that comes new requirements for restaurants. Governor Inslee says it's all in an effort to keep people safe and healthy, but others are feeling it is an invasion of privacy. K2's Kelly Ozer is live for us tonight. So what are they requiring, Kelly?
Well, Governor Inslee is asking that all restaurants ask any of their patrons, for their personal information. Some of that includes their name, phone number, and email so that they can get into contact with them. According to the governor, it will only be used if someone gets sick. This is what a regular night at Billy Blues Bar and Grill in Vancouver is like. But for the last 2 months, this is reality.
Our sales are down right around 80% right now.
Staying afloat has been hard on owner Bill Giannakakis. And now, new guidelines for reopening, he says, are disheartening.
It's probably more devastating than where we're at today.
Some of those guidelines include reducing capacity to about 50%, closing bars, spacing seats and limiting group sizes, and finally, contact tracing, meaning getting the name and contact information of every diner.
You can't say Billy Blues, you need to contact trace, but Costco, Target, Walmart's, you don't have to. That just doesn't make sense to me.
But Tuesday, Governor Inslee says it's a way to save lives.
If you have somebody who's become sick and they were sitting right next to a person at a restaurant, to be able to identify that person could be very valuable for their health to try to save their life. And so we've put that in place. We're talking to the Restaurant Association. They think this may be tenable. We're continuing to refine this over time. And one way or another, we got to make sure we take care of people's health.
Bill says it's too difficult on small businesses who are already taking one of the hardest hits.
As some of our regulars have come and gone to, pick up takeout food, we've asked, how would you feel about that? And the majority of the people they're just not down with that. They feel that that is an infringement on their civil liberties.
And coming up, small businesses say they may not survive these changes. Why your favorite restaurant may have to close for good. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. Reporting live, Kelly Ozer, K2 News.
See you back here at 6 tonight, Kelly. Thank you.
If you don't like the idea of Big Brother keeping tabs on you, how about the idea of Big Bistro? Dining out in Washington will soon mean giving up your digits. Under the new plan outlined today by Governor Jay Inslee, restaurants will be required to get the phone numbers and email addresses of customers. This is to help health officials track you down should anyone at the restaurant become infected with COVID.
We think of this as a smart weapon against this virus. It's smart because it's located just to the folks and targeted for the folks who are positive. And if it's successful, it will allow us to reopen our economy.
Restaurants in Washington can reopen under phase 2 of a 4-phase plan. Right now, only 8 counties have met the criteria. The rest of the state is expected to be there by June 1st.
It's been devastating, but we're trying our best that we can. And, it's just a lot of uncertainty right now.
Small business owners say they're trying to determine how to stay open with the new guidelines going into effect in Washington as the state begins reopening. Restaurants are part of phase 2, but have a lot of work to do before opening their doors. K2's Kelly Azer is live. What are some of the requirements, Kelly?
Well, there's quite a list, but here are some of the big ones that they are paying close attention to. Capacity must be reduced in restaurants to about 50%. If they have a bar, they have to close them, whether that be a salad bar or a bar that you sit at. Now, seating has to be limited to 6 feet apart, and groups can be no more than 5 people. And a bit more controversial is they must get that contact information of patrons so that they can track them should somebody get sick. Restaurant owners are feeling frustrated and stuck.
Small businesses make up about 50% of our economy. They're the heart and soul of this country. And to be honest with you, a lot of these governors have just left us all for dead.
That's Bill Ginnakakis. He owns Billy Blues Bar and Grill in Vancouver. Since switching to takeout only, his business is down 80%. This is what you would expect to see at Billy Blues on any given night. But now, Bill says he's concerned he may never get back to that.
I just don't see how we can operate.
With new rules, he says he will only be able to have 16 tables. Not enough, he says, to get his staff of 25 back and working.
There are days that it's tough. The weekends tend to be a little bit busier for takeout. During the week, not so much. You're sitting in a business that you've spent your whole life to build, and it can get quite emotional from time to time.
And on top of it, the governor is having restaurants get contact information from patrons, a request he says his regulars aren't happy about. Instead, he says he wishes they would require it from stores that aren't struggling right now.
You can't say, Billy Blues, you need to contact trace, but Costco, Target, Walmart's, you don't have to. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Now, restaurants in Clark County are a ways off from reopening, but they do have to be thinking about these guidelines and getting prepared for them. Clark County doesn't expect to be in phase 2 until at least June. Reporting live, Kelly Azer, K2 News.
Kelly, thank you.